Warning, the Stone Age Gamer includes a lot of bad language. Cover your mother***ing ears.
Good evening and welcome to episode 151 of the Stone Age Gamer podcast for the week of May 26th, 2017. I am Kris Randazzo, and joining me, as always, is vampire killer Dan Ryan.
Good evening.
It's time once again for the 10-20-30, but before we go any further, here's your weekly reminder that you can email us at mail@geekade.com and let us know what you think of our show, what topics you would like us to discuss in the future, or just say hello, because we always want to hear from you, the listener. Dan, how are you?
I am doing well, Kris. How are you?
I am fan-freaking-tastic.
Yeah?
Yeah, I found a cell phone game that I need to be not a cell phone game anymore. Because
Puzzle and Dragons. I got it. I've heard about it.
No.
Oh, shit.
No, it is not Puzzle and Dragons. No, I have been playing Arkanoid versus Space Invaders.
Oh, yeah?
It's so good.
Okay, so explain.
So, it is similar to Puyo Puyo Tetris. It is an actual mashup of these two games. So you are the Vaus from Arkanoid, and instead of bouncing a ball back and forth, there's it'll be an Arkanoid-esque stage with blocks, but there will also be Space Invaders. And what you bounce off with your Vaus are the bullets that the Space Invaders shoot down at you. And instead of just moving back and forth, it's kind of like a centipede-style field where you have a little bit of up and down movement as well. And if you kind of shift your Vaus and straight at it, it'll make the Space Invaders rocket sound and make a more powerful shot that only moves vertically. And it's just freaking genius, The little pellets come down and they give you extra time. It's got some weirdo bullshit anime story which you can skip, which I do all the time. It looks great, it sounds great, it plays wonderfully. I just wish it wasn't on a cell phone because my cell phone's not very big and I don't like playing games on it if I can help it. It's pure genius. It is such a great mashup of those two games, and I'm so glad that Square is utilizing their Taito properties so smartly. I just wish they'd put this elsewhere because this game deserves to be played on I want to play it on my Switch. I really do. Right. That's what I want it on. I want it on Switch. It would be perfect for it. It's got the touch screen. You can hold it sideways for the vertical orientation because, the stages are all laid out in a vertical orientation like an Arkanoid game.
Right.
It's brilliant. I can't believe how good it is.
Well, that's awesome.
Yeah. Other than that, I've just been, playing the shit out of some Zelda. I'm getting real close. I have one memory left. I have 11 shrines left.
Nice.
And that's it. I am 120 plus hours into the game.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
I'm thrilled by it.
So, I've been playing Puzzle and Dragons, and one of the things I find interesting about video games, and I'm sure that this has happened to you at some point in your gaming career, I just got my my login bonus for 650 consecutive days logging into this game, which is a lot. It's a lot of days in a row of this fucking game. And I like to think that I'm pretty okay. I'm pretty good at this point, after doing it over and over and over again. It's, I'm starting to really get the hang of things and getting in there. Got my legs under me. And there was a limited time dungeon that came around just this past evening, Tuesday, and it was for one of the hardest dungeons in the game. They have this thing in Japan. I've talked about it a couple times called Pad Radar. That was sort of like Pokemon Go, but it's not really a fair comparison. But it's only in Japan, and there were originally in there exclusive dragons to that game. So there was the Zeus dragon and the Hera dragon and Hephaestus dragon, a couple other ones. They are ridiculously hard with an insane shit that you have to do to be able to beat them. And I was on the Puzzle and Dragons subreddit, and somebody put up a post that a Reddit user by the name of A Fun Worm put up a post and said hey, if you have these couple of things, I can carry you through this dungeon, no problem. I was like, oh shit, I happen to have those things. let's see if a fun worm can actually carry me through this game. And I am nowhere near as good at this game as I thought I was. Like, one of the hardest dungeons in the game, he beat, or she, I don't know, he or she,
They
beat this dungeon in like less than 3 minutes, and I literally did nothing. Like, I did nothing. I had 3 turns, and all I did was move one orb, one space to the left. On the next time I had a turn, I made a combo that didn't get rid of anything and activated my shield. And then I used an active skill and passed my turn. And it was a one-shot kill. Like, it was savant-like. It was gorgeous to watch this. And it was like, I don't know, have you ever played... Well, I think you said you kind of had a similar experience when you went to the Nintendo World Championship. Where, like, people showed up and you were like, oh, wow, okay.
Yeah, I actually kind of learned about that during training. Like, it wasn't a surprise when I got there. It was just like I was hoping I wouldn't go against those people, because I'm very good at Dr. Mario, but there's people out there that are just next level. They're just...
It's just unreal,
yeah,
right?
They're just unfathomably better at it than I can't think that fast. I just can't. It doesn't click like that for me, and it does for some people.
Well, what was amazing about playing this was, on a standard puzzle board, right? Because at the heart of Puzzle and Dragons, it is a puzzle game, and we are all big fans of puzzle games. And at its heart, it is a 6x5 board, right? So 30 orbs total, and we actually failed on the first attempt because when I used my active skill, it created a dark and fire board. And there's an app called Discord that you can use to like chat about games and whatnot. It's a gaming chat application. So you keep that up while you're doing these co-op dungeons, talk about strategy and whatever. And as soon as I clicked the active skill, a message popped up, and it was like, I hate this board. I was like, what? Huh? And like, then went on to explain that with the amount of dark and fire orbs, whatever the fuck they were, because I certainly don't understand it, a fun worm knew exactly where to put the orbs to completely, had the board memorized of like, if I have X number of dark and X number of fire, this is where everything has to go to get the maximum combo. And then just do it.
That's like chess savants, like
having
a different plan in place for every move that somebody else could do. That's crazy.
It was ridiculous. And what's so cool about it is that this, like, the community that is around certain games like Puzzle and Dragons has a very good community around it. This is just somebody out on the West Coast that was like, I'll fucking help you out for like hours. Like, he was making appointments, like scheduling. I'm helping this person at this time, this person at this time for hours. And that's what this dude did yesterday, was just helped people. And that's fucking really cool.
That is really cool.
It was an interesting experience. So, I mentioned that I would mention a fun worm out on the blog, and he has a YouTube channel that I said we'd put a link to in the show notes, so there will be a link in the show notes later.
Alrighty.
It was really awesome.
Send me that link, no doubt.
I will. It was very cool.
I do have 2 other bits of business to just touch on before we actually start the 10, 20, 30. First off is the ongoing saga of my Switch Pro controllers that I've been sending back and forth to Nintendo because of the D-pad issue. Like I said before, I'll be playing Puyo Puyo Tetris, and I'll press left and it'll register as up and do a quick drop and completely ruin my freaking day.
Right.
So I sent them the controller once. They just sent me another brand new one. Had the exact same issue because it's just the way they're built, I guess.
Right.
So I detailed it further with the there's actually a controller input test that you can do on the system itself, which is pretty nice. And I was able to actually show them pictures of like the D-pad doing weird things, and so they sent it back to me and they said that they had fixed it, and I was able to confirm that they pretty much fixed it. It's not flawless. It still does that sort of stuff from time to time, but it was nowhere near as I was able to. I just jumped right into a Tetris match against the computer, and I put it on the hardest difficulty, and I played as fast as I could, which is admittedly very fast. Again, I'm not the Tetris master, but I'm pretty damn good at Tetris.
Right.
And
I have been playing this game for 25 years at this point. I'm okay.
I can play it very, very quickly, and the controller was finally able to keep up with me without making mistakes. I played a couple of rounds. I didn't make any mistakes that weren't just my own errors. The controller didn't bug out on me. Now, I did then switch over to a game of Puyo Puyo, and I went to press up, and it registered as left. And I went back to the control thing. That's not that that's not really all that bad because
they broke it in the opposite direction.
Yeah, and even then, like I pressed up hundreds of times when I was playing those Tetris matches, and they never caused me a problem. And I went back to the input test, and I started like doing Hadouken movements and whatnot. And every now and then they would I started basically pretending I was playing a Street Fighter match as Guile, and half the sonic booms I'd throw would result in an up press in between the backward and the forward. Now, again, I haven't played the silly Street Fighter game on Switch yet, so I don't know how that actually does react. I've never.
They actually built it around that glitch. That's what you have to. Guile's move is now back down, or back up, right?
I said there's a lot of games that won't register that as a jump, like if it's fast enough in the input commands. Like I've never really seen an input test while I was playing a Street Fighter game before. I could go to a training mode and probably figure that out, but I don't know if that's just something that is easily expected because it's very difficult to go charging backwards straight to forward without sliding your thumb across the D-pad, and in that situation there's a very good chance that it's going to nudge up or down. But I'm not paying $40 for Street Fighter 2, so sorry Capcom, you can go screw yourselves. I swear to God, if they pull Switch support because Street Fighter doesn't sell, because people don't want to spend $40 goddamn dollars on Street Fighter 2.
But it's the best possible version of Street Fighter 2, Chris.
And that's fantastic that it's the best possible version of Street Fighter 2. But you added 2 new characters. You did some character balancing, so huzzah. Okay, whatever. And the way of the Hadou mode is supposed to be so utterly broken that... Ugh. Fun segue on that, though.
What would have been a fair price for you on that?
$20.
20?
For a physical copy of Street Fighter, Ultra Street Fighter 2 with 8-bit, with 16-bit mode and HD graphics, and the versus mode, the modes that they added to it, the balancing, I would have understood $20, especially for like a physical copy of the game.
I think 20 is fair, and I'm just thinking because now we talked about it last week or the week before on the show of the NES classics. When they came out, like Mario on Game Boy Advance, was $20. Arguably, Street Fighter 2 has $20 worth more game in there.
Street Fighter 2, especially
but,
especially on Switch, where you've always got 2 controllers with you, at all times, to just break off and play Street Fighter. Granted, nobody wants to play Street Fighter on those things, but it's doable.
Sure.
And for silly, quick little matches with your friends or whatever, that's great. But $40 for this package is just obscene. It's
a bit much. 20, I think, would have been a sweet spot. They would have sold it.
Because what was it? HD Remix, I think, was $15.
I didn't even pay that for it. I got it on a sale or whatever for $8.
I don't remember how much it was when it launched. It could have been $8 when it launched. I feel like it was closer to 10 or 15.
It's so pretty.
It is, and this uses those exact same graphics. So
not 40 though.
Not for 40. No, not for 40.
If it had included the original Street Fighter, then they could have charged $60, and it would have been fine. That game is a masterpiece. What was garbage. No, it is the hottest of garbage. Oh, it's so bad. It's so bad. I watched a playthrough of it today while I was doing stuff for school, because I'm going back to school, because I need another master's degree, Chris. One is not enough. I need another master's, so I'm going to do that. And Well, I was registering for like classes and whatnot. I had YouTube up in another browser, and like one of the suggested things was just like, "Hey, here's a playthrough of Street Fighter with Ryu." So it's like, well, I'm fucking watching that. Look at this awful shit. Anyway,
fun to watch, not fun to play. So the other one I wanted to touch on.
Second piece of news.
Yeah, I mean, so they did essentially fix my Switch Pro controller, so I'm going to send them the other one. So hooray for that. The other one that I wanted to touch on was they did a Nintendo Direct based solely on ARMS, and they kind of sold me on it. Like,
yeah,
I'm definitely going to get it, and I see how, unlike Street Fighter, it's actually funny. This is a fighting game that seems like it's worth full price,
right?
Because they showed off a decent chunk of content in the game, including lots of different single-player modes. And from everything I've been listening to, actually, it was, specifically I was listening to Nintendo Voice Chat from IGN, and they were talking about how they had gone hands-on with both of these games. And Way of the Hadou is in Street Fighter is basically everything that everyone hates about motion controls, because it like registers like 1/3 of the time. It's complete gimmicky bullshit.
Yeah.
Whereas ARMS is shockingly precise, and the hope is that people aren't turned off the way that we were when they showed off ARMS. We're like, this is fucking Wii boxing.
Yeah.
And the hope is that people aren't turned off like that, because it actually isn't like that apparently. But even if it is, it's got standard button controls, which I'm totally happy with, to try those. And I'll try the motion controls too, because they do seem to make sense.
Sure.
As to not be so over the top, because it doesn't seem like it's as much flailing around as so much as like they have to be really kind of controlled things, because you're always at a distance. So like the idea to be like to throw a punch and then you like twist to kind of make the punch go in and curve and like hook around and hit people on the sides, and it just does seem to have a really deep level of strategy to it, which is very exciting to me. But the other single player modes they showed off that just cracked my shit up were the two in particular was there was a slam dunk contest.
Naturally.
Where it's there's no basketball. It's you beat up the other people enough to slam dunk them.
Naturally. That makes sense.
You pick them up and slam dunk your opponent, which I think is fantastic. And the other one was a volleyball mode, where the volleyball is a giant bomb.
Nice.
And you have to like get it past them so it lands and then explodes. Like, all right,
yeah, see that
seems
sounds fun.
There's a litany of modes. They also announced that there's going to be, much like Splatoon, there's going to be free DLC for months to come, and that DLC is going to include new stages, new weapons, and new characters.
That's awesome.
So, and the other characters they showed off, because, you know, everyone's got the weird little... There's some sort of excuse to have some sort of curly arm things. Like, they've got the... You know, they start off with Spring Man and Ribbon Girl, but then they keep getting weirder with, like, the mummy dude, and then there was the girl that's, like, ramen noodles, and then there was the DNA helix. They showed off... they showed off a couple of new characters, and I can't remember... Oh, one of them is a couple of cop robots named Bark and Bite. So you're controlling two characters at the same time, and one of them's a dog.
Nice.
And the other one is a girl who's like, her hair is the arms.
That's cool.
And so she's got like boxing gloves sticking out of these pigtails, and she's like this very curvy movie star glamour lady. So she's like, I don't know, it's weird, but it's... Every single one of the character designs is so freaking clever, the way they've figured out different ways to make this work in this world. I'm very impressed by it. So I'm sold. They're also doing the free demo things. They're calling Global Test Punch as opposed to Global Test Fire with the Splatoon. So I think the first one's this coming weekend, which I'll be giving a try. I'm looking forward to it. I pre-downloaded the little demo thing, so I'm ready to roll.
That sounds awesome. I have high hopes for that. It looks fucking weird, like in sort of the best kind of way that Nintendo does weird.
It does have a slight smell like this is what Nintendo would have done Power Stone, you know?
Yeah.
Because it does have that 4-player mode in it too, which is also crazy.
Yeah. If they do not do a crossover with Capcom and Darkstalkers with
Anna Karis?
Yeah.
There's already a mummy character in the game, so
Well, Anna Karis can come in and stomp his ass down, and
that would be awesome.
Awesome.
I will, or Dalsim. Dalsim would fucking work in this game. That would be great. The other thing that they did show at that direct was a single player trailer for Splatoon 2, which holy crap looks so good. I still go back, play the single player in Splatoon. You will freaking love it. It's so clever and so good. But I don't know if you knew this. Did you know about the what do they call those things? The Splatfests that they did?
Yeah.
Those like big versus things where you know everyone would pick a team and then like your team would win at the end or win or lose at the end, like based on globally how many people won and lost. So
Team Valor, right? That's the thing.
No,
it was a failed Pokemon Go joke. Sorry,
I actually forgot it was Pokemon Go for a second. I was like, why do I know that?
That is the ultimate failing of that game right there.
The last Splatfest was, do you know the characters Callie and Mari?
Sure.
They're like the two squid sisters that they introduced every time you turn on the game. They talk about what the stages were and whatnot.
Yeah.
So the last Splatfest in Splatoon 1 was Callie versus Mari. And
okay.
That Splatfest, like, is the story behind the second game. Like, I forget which one's which, but whichever one lost, like, went away, and the single-player campaign is about the results of that Splatfest and the one squid sister trying to find the other one.
That's pretty awesome.
That's crazy. That is meta as fuck, and I'm so impressed by that. Like, they actually made that shit count in canon. Like, the multiplayer tournament that they held in the first game is part of the story in the second game. That's nuts. That's so cool.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
And the way that game's coming together, like, it seemed like it was like a level pack at first, but it's really starting to smell like a sequel now with the horde mode that they added, and the way the single player campaign looks. It looks nuts. Like, there's going to be a lot to do in that game besides just the online matches. So I'm very impressed with that. I can't wait to play that game.
They're doing well. Give me Metroid.
Give me Metroid. I really want them to knock it out of the park with this E3, but we're going to have a whole show dedicated to E3, and we've already been at this for a while, so let's get to the 10, 20, 30.
There's really, I mean, when you're talking about the games that came out in May 30 years ago, there's really only one that matters. Like,
30 years ago?
Yeah.
No, that's the second half in 87. We're
I
going to
know,
start
but, like,
10. No,
okay,
there's two that matter.
Yeah.
There's two that matter, and they're
you better
both
not be
from Konami.
talking about Mario Party 8, because I will fucking drive to your house and fight you.
Well, that was 10 years ago.
Right now. All right, let's do it. 10 years ago.
10 years ago. May of 2007.
Oh, those halcyon days of May. George Bush was in the White House.
So, obviously, the most important thing on this list is the first one we'll talk about, MLB 07, the show. Now, this was the second or third show game. I don't remember.
I think it was the third. Because Sony had the MLB.
There was no
games.
05. It was MLB the show, then MLB 06 the show, then MLB 07 the show, I think. I think. So this would have been the third one. You're right.
Because the show was just the next iteration of the MLB franchise that 989 Studios had been doing, which I think eventually became Santa Monica or whatever.
But the show was kind of a relaunch of it, wasn't it?
Yeah,
The show was when they like finally got their shit together and said, no, we're going to do this right.
Yeah, well, because the MLB games had always been good, but they had been more. They weren't even necessarily like an arcade experience, but they were less simulation. They were kind of like Bases Loaded, because Bases Loaded kind of straddled that line between like simulation and arcade fun.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like there
were
kind of existed
enough aspects of realism in it to make it seem like it was being realistic, but it was still focused on fun over realism.
Yeah, and then the show came out and they were like, no, this is a baseball game. This isn't a baseball video game or like a home run derby that you're going to have with your friends, although we'll put that mode in there. This is deep. We are doing a deep dive on baseball, and it is gorgeous and has been utterly amazing every year. the consistency of the show franchise is staggering. Because Madden sucks now. And has sucked for years. I mean, people still buy it because it's Madden.
And
but Madden
if they want to
been
play a football
good.
game, they literally have no other choice.
They literally have no other choice. Madden hasn't been good in years. There were a couple years where the Madden games were actually really well-made games, and they had a lot of fun things you could do, and but like the actual action on the field was like made sense and like was good. Not anymore. Awful. This game's terrible now. The show is beautiful. It's a perfect game. It's the perfect game,
Dames
Kris.
call it quality.
What's that?
The Dames call it quality.
The Dames call it quality. They certainly do. It's
Ren and
just
Stimpy Spunko for you there.
it's like, I mean, it's a breathtaking game. It really is. There are moments when you play this game where you go, oh, my breath was taken. Like, it's so
Son of a
good.
bitch.
Son
Get
of a
back
bitch.
and eat it.
It did. I want to play. It's incredible. Incredible. I love this game so much.
Well, speaking of breathtaking, we'll transition from PlayStation 3 to PlayStation 2. We saw Odin Sphere for PlayStation 2, which
This
was...
is a game I should have played.
Yeah, same here. I believe I even bought it, and I didn't really get around to playing it. Because I bought it because it looked so goddamn pretty. It's,
Yeah. And then they did the PS4 remake.
Yeah.
And it went, oh, God, that looked awful. Look at this one. It's so much prettier.
If you were playing this on your standard definition television, it looked great.
Yeah. No, this is it really does. It's got a gorgeous art style. It's a really interesting.
It's all 2D sprite work too.
Yeah.
Like that's the thing about this, the Odin Sphere. And what were the other games these people made? They all kind of had this look to them, and it was just they're just gorgeous. They
had very RPG
stunning.
names though.
They did. Odin Sphere. Frickin' friggity frick frack.
Exactly. That was one of the other ones.
Frickin' friggity frick frack. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. It's a classic.
Good old frickin' friggity frick frack for PlayStation 2. Oh goodness.
Yeah, no, this is a game that I think I will eventually get to. Was Valkyrie Chronicles or Valkyria Chronicles? Was that one of theirs?
No, that was Sega actually.
Was it? That was one that sort of looked similar, right?
This is gonna drive me nuts. This is gonna drive me absolutely nuts. All right, so here I am, Wikipedia, Vanillaware. What else did Vanillaware do? Come on. Grim Grimoire. That's the Muramasa the Demon Blade. That's the one I was thinking of.
Yeah,
Son
that
of a
Muramasa
bitch.
game is awesome.
Yeah, that one is. I played it. I did play a little bit of that one.
And Grim Grimoire is really nice too.
Boy, let's see. They did Grand Knight's History, Dragon's Crown, 13 Sentinels.
Did you ever play Dragon's Crown?
I've never even heard of Dragon's Crown.
It was a free PS Plus game on PS3 at some point.
Atlas published it.
Awesome. It's a really fun game. I love that game.
It's definitely got their art style.
Yeah, it's really good.
Nifty.
It's a fucking beat 'em up.
I love beat 'em ups.
This is a Vanillaware beat 'em up. Like it's so over the top and ridiculous. It's awesome.
Alrighty, next on the list was Forza 2 for Xbox 360.
People really like those Forza games.
You know what I like about the Forza games? They seem to be, at least to my mind, and please correct me if I'm wrong, but they seem to be every bit as good as Gran Turismo, but they're able to complete them in less than 30 years' time.
That seems to be the case.
It's like, oh, it's a racing game? We're just going to get this right, and we're going to release it.
And we're just going to put it out.
But the stitching on the seats in this specific car are wrong. The stitching is supposed to be dark gray, and it's black here.
Delay the game for 6 more months.
6 more months, we have to get the shade exactly right.
Have to get the shade perfect. Yeah. I
mean,
mean,
Forza's just like, no, we're going to make sure that it's fun to play.
Yeah.
Then we'll concentrate on those extra details.
Because, like, Gran Turismo, I think, is a game that is really, really well done, but I have never had any fun playing it.
Me neither. I've never had fun playing that game.
Yeah, I just don't enjoy it.
Because I understand
why people do.
And like, so if you're really into car porn, then have at it. But like, as an actual racing game, I don't find it very entertaining.
No, like fucking Tokyo. Oh God, what was it? Tokyo Extreme Racer Zero. That shit was.
I forgot all about the Tokyo Extreme Racer series.
Those were so fun. Those were good.
They were fun.
Driving up behind people, flashing your high beams at them, like, "What's up, motherfucker? Let's do this."
Or even Need for Speed. Need for Speed.
Need for Speed's great.
Test Drive.
Yeah. But no, like I think Forza is kind of the same thing. But you're right; they just happen to release their porn in a timely fashion.
Yeah, and
it's just not a fetish I have, Chris. Car porn.
Yeah,
plenty of other weird shit.
Not into cars.
Don't
I like
care.
my minivan.
I'm not even going to go that far.
All right, so we don't have a lot to say about these next ones. Mario Party 8.
Boo, hiss, enough. God,
Nah.
they're so bad.
I get the concept, and I loved the first one, and the second one was pretty fun too. But I don't know, man.
Nope.
Just stop. And we clearly love Mario Party. The last one was the Wii version of Mortal Kombat Armageddon, which was solid.
No, I mean it was, but like, I don't know.
It's that Nintendo port problem, or they're like, well, we didn't release it on the system with at the same time as the other platforms, so that's going to be detrimental to sales. But they did get to release on a very popular system, and I'm pretty sure it sold very well. But
I'm sure it did. It's Mortal Kombat.
Mortal Kombat on
it always
the Wii.
sells. Like
I don't care for these modern Mortal Kombat games. Armageddon's sick of them.
I see what you did there. I kind of wish you hadn't, but I do see it.
I wish I hadn't too. I do remember the box was very shiny for this one. That was neat. Yeah, it was reflective shininess.
I don't know, like
silver, whatever.
I like this engine when I'm playing like Injustice because I want
do it.
I want something different from Mortal Kombat. You know what I mean? Like
I want live action actors.
Get me the ghost of Johnny Cage out here. I don't even know if that guy's dead. He might be. Who knows? Get me the original actor who played Shang Tsung. He's certainly dead at this point.
Now I'm pretty sure that was the same guy.
Get the fuck out of here. I know.
You thought they actually got an old guy to do that? He was wearing like friggin' sneakers. Did you ever notice that when you knock down Shang Tsung, you see his feet? He's got like these white Keds on or something like that.
He's got they're orthopedic shoes, Chris. He's old. Clearly. He's old, but he still kicks ass, but he needs to support his sciatica.
Mortal Kombat development. I gotta find this guy. I know he's I feel like it was just like one dude that did. Okay, there were two brothers, Daniel and Carlos Pesina. Mm-hmm. Let's see. He played Johnny Cage, Sub-Zero, Scorpion, Reptile, Smoke, Noob Saibot in Mortal Kombat 1 and 2. His younger brother Carlos played
Raiden.
Who else did he play? Raiden. Oh, he just did Raiden a whole bunch. And Bo Rai Cho. He did the voice for Bo Rai Cho in Mortal Kombat Deception. So
that was the big fat dude that like threw up bile and shit?
I think so, yeah.
The big drunken dude.
So who played Shang Tsung? Oh, Book of Swords.
It was Mako. No, it wasn't.
No, Mako didn't play it. Oh my God, did you see the Samurai Jack finale?
No, I haven't watched any of it yet. I was waiting for the whole thing, and I'm going to fucking mainline it.
Jesus crikey.
I know.
So good. Yes, he played Shang Tsung. His name was Ho Sung Pak. He's a Korean-American film actor.
Sounds familiar.
Well, that was a fun little tangent.
That really was. All right.
Back to May of 1997. 20 years ago, we got the Lost Vikings on Super NES. Did you ever play this game? Lost Vikings 2.
I did. I was never very good at it, but I always liked it.
Yeah, I was into the idea of it, but I never spent any time learning how to play it, so I just kind of didn't.
If we can be honest here for a minute, Chris.
Change, but all right.
Yeah, we really do make all of this up. We're actually two women named Michelle and Veronica.
I am the Queen of France.
Oh, goodness. We have to go watch that now. Hold, please. Watches angry bees swarm out of my nipples. Anyway, fuck. When the original Lost Vikings came out, I didn't understand at all because I rented the game and it didn't come with an instruction manual. And I didn't pay attention to any directions that might have been given on the screen when I first started it. I didn't pay attention at all to what the hell I was supposed to do. So for like a weekend, I just ran around in this game going, what the fuck am I supposed to do? I don't understand. And like was just irrationally angry at the series from then on. It was completely my fault. Completely and totally my fault. And then when the second one came out, I think I kind of did the same thing.
The second one came out, you were busy playing PlayStation.
I was. Like, I don't want to play this. Super Nintendo.
Yeah, I don't even think I ever sniffed Lost Vikings 2, to be honest with you. I think I played a little bit of the first one, and then I never even... it just went completely under my radar. I knew it existed, but not to the extent of me ever trying to actually seek it out to play it or whatever.
No, I did eventually go back to it at some point in time of like, oh, hey, that was a thing, and like enjoyed it much more. Never finished it or anything, but...
Now, speaking of Mark Hamill, Wing Commander 4 came out for PlayStation. Was this the one with Mark Hamill in it?
Oh, sure. I don't know. I'll look it up. You talk.
I'm already on it. Yeah, that's Mark Hamill right
Yeah,
there.
it is not highly rated on IGN. They are not fans of this game. 4 out of 10. And for good reason. It's awful. Wing Commander games suck.
But it's got Mark Hamill in it.
Yeah, he's
and
not a good actor.
Who else is that on the cover?
Like, and Malcolm McDowell? No.
Is that Malcolm McDowell?
I think that is. Might not be.
I think Mark Hamill is good at what he does. He's very good as the Joker.
Mark Hamill has been good twice. He was good as Luke, and he was great as the Joker.
Yeah, Malcolm McDowell.
Anything other than that?
No, he was great as the Trickster.
No. It's not great.
Oh, come on. Trickster in Justice League? Got me again, Flash.
Oh, okay. I thought you were talking back on the old live-action Flash show.
Oh, no. He was very entertaining on the new live-action Flash show, but he's just kind of hamming it up. So. Well,
but that's what I'm saying. Like, don't get me wrong. Like, by me saying Mark Hamill is not a good actor, Bruce Campbell's not a good actor. I still love him. He's not fucking good at what he does.
Bruce Campbell's great at what he does.
I still love him though, but like having Mark Hamill as like your star in a video game with like full motion video, like, oh boy, no.
Well, that was kind of a big deal back then. They hadn't quite reached Bruce Willis in apocalypse levels of Hollywood meddling at this point. This was a long time ago.
No, I mean, and like the first couple of Wing Commander games were kind of fun, but like that era, like the mid '90s for PC games,
PC space flight sims. Unless you were TIE Fighter versus X-Wing, you were just not doing it for me. It's the same thing with I always felt like I should like them more than I do. It was the same thing with Star Raiders on Atari 2600. Like, I was so excited to get that game and learn how to play it, and then I was like, I'm not having any fun here. Yeah. And I understand why some people do, but that's not the way my brain works. So, like, I acknowledge the Star Raiders is an awesome game, especially for its time. But these kinds of things, they don't click with me.
There's a lot. There's a lot going on.
Yeah.
And I mean, people love it though, and good for them.
They do. All right. Speaking of a lot, we are going long here, so let's hit these last two. Contra: Legacy of War for Sega Saturn was released on May of 1997. I believe this was after the PlayStation version, and still not a very good game.
No. Contra's another thing. It's been good like 3 times, and when it's good, it's really good. But like,
I think it's been great 5 times.
Great.
Contra, the original Contra for NES.
Sure. Super C.
Super Contra. Contra 3 The Alien Wars.
Yeah, those were the 3.
Contra 4 for Nintendo DS.
I've never played it, so.
Oh, dude, way forward. Did Contra 4 for DS, and it's so goddamn good it hurts. And Contra Hardcore for Genesis.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So that's 5 solid Contra games. Then you got, Legacy of War, Shattered Soldier, all right. Neo
was
Contra.
Shattered Soldier the one that had the Ashley Wood artwork? The guy who did really a lot of the Spawn
wispy
paintings.
painted looking thing. Right? Yeah.
That one was
good.
terrible. I liked it, but it was terrible.
Yeah, I mean, I would say it was solid at best, but it was all right. I mean, at least it was 2D. At least it wasn't a wacky 3D attempt like Legacy of War, but boo. All right, and the last one I don't have a ton to say about, but it's worth mentioning, the Game & Watch Gallery. The first one came out for the Game Boy, which I think is pretty neat. I love Game & Watch Gallery 2 for Game Boy Color, especially because it's got amazing music.
Yeah.
But just I thought this was a neat way of basically just playing up the fact that, now, these games are fun, even though they're very simple. So let's just add a fresh coat of Mario graphics on top of them so that we can entice people to play them and realize, oh yeah, Ball is actually kind of fun. Ball.
Dumb. Oh, I love it. Yeah, I mean, you're absolutely right, though. Like, these games had existed, and it was like, oh, shit, like, never mind, these are actually kind of cool.
Yeah, they're actually
these
quite
were
fun.
cool.
I love Parachute. That's probably my favorite one. I love Parachute. The game's
Good
great.
stuff.
All right, so that's the 10 and the 20. When we come back, we'll be hitting up the 30, where we've got a couple of more important games to talk about. We will do our very best to be relatively quick about it. You are listening to the Stone Age Gamer podcast from Geekade.com. Stick around. And now, here's a look at some of the other original content available right now at Geekade.com. First up, Trish Reyes has written what is possibly our most controversial top 10 list yet. Everybody loves seasoning, whether it's a simple salt or something a little fancier like cumin. Food loves seasoning. So what are the best spices to have on your spice rack? Or better yet, what are the best spices to have if you don't want to give McCormick all of your money? Find out in Geekade Top 10, Stock Your Spice Rack.
I loved that article. I 100% agreed with her number one. I put it on basically everything.
Really?
It makes everything better.
I heartily disagree with that statement.
Oh, no, it is the best thing ever.
No, flat out wrong.
But curry was not on the list.
See, I am not a fan of curry either.
You like bland American food. That's your problem.
That's
bland
not
American
true.
Boy.
Yeah, I do like American food, but I prefer it to not be bland, which is why salt should have been number one, because salt is far too important.
American food, the worst food. Like, globally.
Well, natively American, not Native American food, but like burgers and dogs, I guess is really all you would consider natively American food. Yeah.
No, I'm talking like meatloaf.
Oh shit, yeah, meatloaf.
Chicken pot pie. I make a cake of
meatloaf. Ugh. Chicken pot pie is so good.
Oh, fuck that.
You're insane.
Gross.
Chicken pot pie is so
gross.
Good.
It's like Japanese food is like number one, and then like Chinese food is number two, but like authentic Chinese food, not like American Chinese food. And then like Indian food and like Middle Eastern food.
Yeah.
And then like Mexican food. Like American food is just nowhere close. Like I would put it below Canadian food. Like I would rather eat a fucking moose than like some meat and potatoes. No, that's what they do in Canada, right? They eat moose.
I don't think they're grilling up moose steaks in Montreal right now.
They might be. You don't fucking know. You have no idea. You have no idea. That's the point. Admit that fact.
I have
You
been to
don't
Canada,
know.
all right? I have been to Canada. I've spent a little bit of time there, not a lot, but nobody was grilling up moose steaks, all right?
Well, you weren't in the backcountry of Canada, where they grill up moose steaks left and right. Breakfast, lunch, and dinner. That's all they have. Moose are very big, Chris, you see, so they can last for a long time.
Many much moosin'.
Oh, boy. Anyway, so for some reason, my co-host Chris here thinks that people want to watch him yammer on about stuff that he has in his collection, and it's been proven for literally years now that it is. I'm sorry, Chris.
Don't be.
It's simply not the case. But you keep doing it anyway.
Damn right. Well,
And
keep doing it is a fun way of saying it.
I appreciate. Yeah, don't break the fucking fourth wall, Chris.
I
Nobody
recorded
knows-
like a year and a half of these
Nobody
things.
knows that these were in your old place, Chris. Fucking don't say it.
No, I still live here.
Oh, okay. Yeah, didn't you do like 17 years worth of this shit with,
I swear we did like
with
a year and a
Castlevania?
half.
Yeah. Anyway, there's new episodes of his YouTube show, Into the Vault. Anyway, this time Chris is focusing on the Fairchild Channel F, and that's like the first American console system, right?
Cartridge-based.
Cartridge-based console system. That is such a specific nerdy piece of trivia. Like, well, actually, it's the first cartridge-based system.
It's the first one where you could swap out the games. Everything else is like, you got a Pong machine. It plays the Pongs.
You should have just
This
had
is
the
like,
Pong
check
machine.
this shit out. Just check out these giant yellow 8-track tapes.
Be sure to watch Chris's Into the Vault, the Fairchild Channel F on the Geekade YouTube channel, or don't. Nobody's really going to anyway. I watch them at least.
My
You
son
get
watches
one
them.
view. That's good. And Daddy, you're on the magic talking box.
He asks to watch them, and I don't know if I should be insulted. Can I watch a daddy video? But I'm right here.
But I'm right here. Real life is better. What size am I, John? Actual. Fucking look at me.
Then, Gabby Robbins is back on tech writing this month, and she's just in time for all the fancy new smart devices being released by Amazon and Google. But which one will reign supreme, and what similarities do they have with the old-fashioned landline house phone? Find out in Echo Show, Echo Look, Echo See, Echo Do, located in the think tank.
I want an Echo Show. I want one. I don't know why.
Look,
I do.
they sound really interesting in her article. I'm not there yet. I'm not ready for that kind of commitment to technology.
I am. Can't wait to get a robot arm. It's going to be awesome. Finally, have you ever wondered what baseball would say to sports fans if it had the chance? Chris, have you? I'm asking.
Oh, sorry, I was drinking.
God damn
no.
it, Chris. You're ruining the fucking timing. Comedy's all about timing, Chris.
Okay, let's try it again.
Okay, finally, have you ever wondered what baseball would say to sports fans if it had the chance?
Waffles. I fucked it up. I mean,
God damn.
No, I have not. But yes,
Well,
I have for the sake of this joke.
there
Damn
we
it, I'm
go.
so bad at this.
You really are. This is
Yes.
why we are bleeding subscribers. Bleeding subscribers.
13
Continuously.
people hit unsubscribe every time I fuck up a joke.
It means we're also gaining a lot of new subscribers every month and losing all the old shit. We're pruning the old bastards away. That's right, longtime listeners. Fuck you.
Don't
Anyway.
listen to Dan. I love you.
Whatever. Matt said that Tiff was the star of the show. So, Mr. Matt on Twitter, not Matthew Much. She has been holding that over me for the entire week. Anyway, doesn't matter. Geekade's Dave Diorio has, and he's written a letter to sports fans from the perspective of the concept of baseball. The sport apparently has a lot to say about football, fantasy leagues, and people's unwillingness to enjoy subtlety over flash. Read all about it in Dear Fans, It's Not You. Read all 13 more subscribers.
Now he's fucking it up, Dan.
Read all about it. Evan, edit this. He won't. Read all about it in Dear Fans. It's you, not me. Love baseball. Located in the think tank.
That was a really fun article. I was very impressed by it.
It's some meta shit. Like, that's deep.
I wasn't expecting it. I never know what to expect from Dave when he submits his articles.
No, I have no, like, every time a new one pops up, I'm like, well, I've got no idea what this is going to be about, but I'm into it.
You can catch all this great stuff, plus tons of other articles, videos, podcasts, and more right now at geekade.com. All right, we are back. And speaking of back, I'm so good at segues. I have like one segue that I use for everything, just put different words in it. Let's travel back 30 years ago to May of 1987, and the first game on our list, a real winner, or at least the precursor to some real winners. The original Contra was released in arcades here in America.
It's so good.
It's pretty good. Contra for the arcade is pretty good. I think the NES game is better.
It is,
but the arcade game is neat. This
was just so
one
cool.
Of those. It was very cool, and I loved this about arcade translations back then. It was like they could go one of two ways. Either they would be like a bastardization of a super awesome arcade game, or they would do something like Konami did with Contra, or what Capcom did with Bionic Commando, or Tecmo did with Rygar, where they would take these arcade games that look superior, and then they just make them into these just vastly better games on the NES.
Yeah, like Strider for the NES is way better than Strider in the arcade.
I don't know about way better there. I think the arcade version of Strider is... I think the bigger disparity is Rygar. I mean, Rygar for arcade is actually pretty bland. Yeah. Or even Ninja Gaiden. Remember Ninja Gaiden in the arcade?
Oh, I do love that little red button that was up on top of the joystick, though.
It was pretty rad, yeah.
That was cool. But no, you're right. Like that was the thing... Because they couldn't do both,
and they couldn't just do the arcade game.
Like they couldn't do an exact 1-to-1 port of it. So it was like, all right, we can either go flashy, or we can make like a solid game behind it.
And a lot of times they came up with something interesting. Now, Contra for NES isn't as big a difference as something like Rygar, but it is. It just seems so much more refined. Like it feels so much sharper and controls so much tighter than I think the arcade one does. Like I've tried to play through the arcade one a bunch of times, and it's a little clunky. Those like behind the over the shoulder levels, the behind the view.
Yeah, those are trying to take your quarters.
That's true. It is trying to take your quarters.
It is not designed for you to beat it on a quarter.
Yeah, very much. Well, NES Contra, sir, wasn't designed for you to beat it without the 30 lives code.
But I have.
I have too.
Because we're fucking nerds.
Cool. I mean, once you know it, then you know it. Like,
no, yeah. It's,
now the game's
I couldn't
actually
do it
like
now.
once you. I could do it now. I've basically memorized it. Like it just takes it's like riding a bike. You go there like, oh yeah, no, that guy's gonna be there. That guy's gonna be there. That guy's gonna shoot a bullet there. Cool, good times.
I would need a little bit of time. Like I could get back to it because I've done it before, but I haven't played Contra in a very long time.
Because they haven't released it on anything. Like
no.
It's on NES, and then everything it's either been Super Contra, which is great, or the arcade version of Contra, which is put the NES version out there. Konami, what's your effing deal?
Oh, we've had that podcast.
Yes, we did.
They didn't answer.
They didn't. I don't think they care.
No.
So
no, they don't.
Next on the list, also in arcades, Super Hang-On.
Yes.
I have never played this one.
Really?
I played the crap out of the original Hang-On, but I never came across a Super Hang-On arcade machine.
So fun. They had it down the shore.
Love Hang-On.
You never went down to like the Jersey Shore in the 80s where they had a Super Hang-On machine?
No,
really?
We didn't do much of that when we were kids. We never really went to the shore. We just kind of like I hit up the mall or something, but I don't think they ever had a Super Hang-On where I went.
Nah, man,
Now,
like
they
Wildwood
did
had it, and like Maury's Pier, dude.
No, we almost never went there. We
That
just
sucks.
didn't do stuff like that.
You had a terrible childhood. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Let's talk about that for another hour.
Let's talk about.
Let's
I
talk
had a
about your terrible
fantastic childhood. Thank you very much.
I've actually got your
in
mom
arcades.
on the other line. She's here to speak
To
with
confirm.
you. To confirm, and your sister. Boy, does she have some things to say. You were a bad baby, Chris. I don't know if you know that.
I do know that.
No, fucking Super Hang-On was really fun, man. Like I love those. Just
Old Sega arcade games are freaking awesome.
they really
just
are. There
are.
was just something
Outrun, Super
different
Hang-On,
about them.
Afterburner,
Yeah.
Space Harrier,
Just this
even
giant,
Fantasy Zone, just
loud
awesome.
machine, like all types of. It was just extra. There was just so much extra shit going on with it that you didn't need, but made the experience so much more awesome. Fuck, I miss the arcades. I really do.
Word.
Good stuff.
Man, I'm tired.
Stop yawning. You can make
Never.
people. That's 13 more subscribers, Chris.
Damn it. Lost another 13. Also, back in 30 years ago, May of 1987, Wonder Boy, the first Wonder Boy, was released on Sega Master System.
It
Meh.
was awesome. No, it's an awesome game.
It's all right. I didn't really get into it when it was Adventure Island either. Like I didn't know about Wonder Boy because I was an NES kid over a Master System kid. So
Right.
I played it as Adventure Island, and I didn't really care for it then either.
I like it a lot.
It's not bad. It's just
No.
meh.
I don't know. I always really enjoyed it. And the series
bad.
really took some wildly different directions.
My
like,
God,
as
this
it went on.
series. So like Wonder Boy 2 started to get RPG-ish, which is not even remotely similar to the gameplay of 1. And then
Not
Wonder
even a
Boy
little bit.
3 was like a friggin' masterpiece.
Yeah.
And then it just keeps going weirder from there. But Adventure Island stuck with that original formula and kept iterating on the original Wonder Boy formula until you made it to Super Adventure Island 2, where it turned into a game similar to Wonder Boy 3. But then there was like a sequel to Wonder Boy 3 that was released on TurboGrafx that was called Adventure Island. And what smells like copper?
Somebody having toast?
Son of a bitch. It's all over.
It's a really interesting franchise that we will at some point, I'm sure, dedicate an entire episode to.
That would be fun.
Yeah,
And weird.
because it's so weird.
Yeah.
All right,
All right.
These last three.
These last three. Well, we'll do two of them relatively quick and then spend a little time on the last one. So first we have the NES port of Burger Time, which is great.
It is great.
It is an excellent port of an excellent arcade game. Like, this is one where they just went for the straight translation, and I'm glad they did, because it's great. It's a wonderful port. I love
And it's
Burger
still
Time.
fun.
It is still fun to this day. I will play NES Burger Time anytime. It's great.
It is a timelessly fun game.
Games about making burgers, man. They don't suck.
Yeah, no, they really don't.
Short
Except
order,
for the
I would
Cooking
also play
Mamas.
that.
Ugh.
That's true. They're not really about making burgers.
No, I
They're
guess
a little
not.
more everything. Then we also have the first Ikari Warriors released on
loved
the
this
NES.
game.
Ikari Warriors is awesome. I've played not nearly as much of it as I should have. I have all three of them for NES, and I'll get around to playing more of them. But I have played some of them, and they are very good.
I loved it. I loved this, and I loved Commando.
Oh, I loved Commando. I played the crap out of Commando.
Like this top-down. Oh, and then fucking Ninja Commando on
Guerrilla
TurboGrafx
War?
16.
Did you play Guerrilla War? That was another SNK one released on NES. Top-down shooter. Really freaking good.
I'm sure I have. It hasn't stuck with me like Ikari Warriors.
Our rental place had Guerrilla War, but it didn't have Ikari Warriors. So that's the one that I have more nostalgia for, because we played the crap out of Guerrilla War. Loved that game.
Mm-hmm.
I'd hug it if I had it with me right now. And 30 years ago, May of 1987, here in America on the Nintendo Entertainment System, Castlevania.
Now, we have covered Castlevania thoroughly. We have given Castlevania the equivalent of a prostate exam at this point. We have been just all up in there. But it's okay that we talk about it again. That's how good the game is.
It's so good.
It's so good.
I love Castlevania.
And like it makes me happy just to even like think about it again with the new with the announcement, the official announcement from Universal that their rebooted monster universe is going to be called the Dark Universe, and this first movie that's coming out with Tom Cruise, The Mummy, it looks terrifying as a Mummy movie should be. Like, it looks really scary and really fun. And the people that they have announced officially for playing the rest of these roles, like Johnny Depp is playing the Invisible Man, Javier Bardem is playing Frankenstein's monster, and Russell fucking Crowe is playing Dr. Jekyll. That just makes me so, like, nostalgically happy for this whole genre, you know? Because, like, Castlevania certainly went off on its own direction, but this first game is such a love letter to those
Universal monsters,
to the Universal monsters and, like, the old Bela Lugosi shit, and it's just so beautiful. It's such a frustratingly difficult game because it controls like dog shit.
Also, the night that we're recording this, the trailer for the Castlevania Netflix series just went up.
Oh, did it?
Yeah, it looks pretty rad. Yeah, pretty jazzed about it.
Yeah,
it is a frustratingly difficult game. It is still something that I have a really hard time beating nowadays.
It's really hard.
First couple of stages, I'm down, but like once I get to Frankenstein's monster, that's usually where it starts to take a turn for me.
It gets super tough.
And then by the time I get to death, it's like it's super tough. It is a tough game, but it's a wonderful game. It's got great visuals for its time, and one of the most memorable soundtracks on the system.
It's just a stunning game,
in damn near every respect.
It really is. I love it. I love it to pieces. I really, really do.
All right, well, that's going to be it for us. That's the 10, 20, 30 for May. Join us next week when Dan had a great idea. We're going to start a Stone Age Gamer Summer Series where we are going to, Dan and I are each going to play a game. We're both going to play the same 2 games, and we're going to do our very best to finish those 2 games. And we're going to talk about them. And so the first month to kick off June, our first Summer Series games are going to be Trojan for NES and Mega Man X2 for Super Nintendo. And the other fun part of this is that you guys are going to get to pick the games we play next. So we're going to put a poll up on our Facebook page sometime in the next week where you'll have 6 games to choose from, and you'll pick a different one of those silly emoji things to pick. And the top 2 games are the games that Dan and I will play for the month of June. And then for the month of July. And then after that, we'll do another one for August, and that'll be our summer series. So we're going to play through 6 games this summer. Dan and I are going to beat 6 games. That's our mission.
That's right.
Starting with Trojan and Mega Man X2. So, once again, you can get in touch with us at mail@geekade.com, as well as all flavors of social media that we inhabit. You can like us on Facebook, find us on Instagram at Geekade, subscribe to our YouTube and Twitch channels for all our latest video content, and follow us on Twitter at _Geekade. You can also find us individually on Twitter. I'm at Geekade Kris, that's Geekade Kris, and Dan is at
Geekade Dan.
If you're interested in more information about anything we discussed here tonight, be sure to check out our show notes. And while you're at it, you can also subscribe to this and any of our other wonderful podcasts on iTunes or Stitcher, or if you're super nice, you can leave us a review because any and all feedback is welcome and appreciated. We'd also like to thank our intrepid editor, Evan, for making the show listenable for all you folks, and we'd also like to thank Mark TDK Knight for our show's theme. You can check him out on SoundCloud and Bandcamp or his website, which we have a link to again in the fancy schmancy show notes. Always remember to keep your eyes on Geekade.com, where we do our very best to post something new every single day, and we fail every Sunday. But damned if we're not trying.
That's right, we are. Not hard, but you know,
but somewhat.
Somewhat. We think about it. We think about it every Sunday.
I think. Well, you've got something coming up this Sunday, right? You got a Bits and Brews, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So there'll be something this Sunday. It's a solid week, solid 7 days of stuff writing.
Another New Jersey brewery and a classic game.
Good times.
Good stuff.
All right.
Can we also,
yeah, what's up?
just as a thing, can we say, since we know what games we're playing already for next week, if any of you listening, and I take back the F you earlier, I do actually love every single one of you deeply. If you guys have memories of like when you played through Trojan, or when you played through Mega Man X2, share them on the Facebook page so we can talk about them on the show. Like, get involved.
Yeah, Facebook, Twitter, however you want to get to us.
Email us, whatever. Let us know like what you thought about those games, and we'll include you in the show. Send us a voicemail. We'll make Evan edit a clip into the show.
Yeah, if you want to send us... Ferg does that on his show, the Atari 2600 Game by Game podcast. He does audio submissions and plays them on the show, and I've done several of them for his shows when he talks about games I know about. So yeah, if you want to send us an audio submission, mail at geekade.com. Tell us what you think of Mega Man X2 for Super Nintendo or Trojan for NES. Whatever stories you got for those, send them in to us however you like. We'll read them on the show. We'll talk about them. And I'll make some posts on social media about it as well. Good call, Dan.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Told you. Only have good ideas, Chris.
That's all he has. On behalf of Dan and myself, keep playing games.